How much time do you spend planning shoots and posts?
There are two types of content that we make, obviously. We're similar to running a magazine around here. We do the content that we're really excited about, that is organic, and then we also do sponsored posts, which we're also really excited about because we only say yes to sponsored content that feels like a genuine 100% yes. If it does not feel like a 100% yes, then it is a no, and that's something that I've had to work on really hard this year. Because I've quite frankly said yes to a lot of jobs that while I was doing the job, I was like, why did I say yes to this? How long does it take to plan? So generally it takes about, I would say 2 weeks to make sure we have the clothing picked out, we have the clothing shipped, we set a shoot date, we make a mood board. So when it is like a passion project, it's usually like I get this idea, I'm super excited about this idea, and I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. So those passion projects take a bit of time because I just have to find time in my calendar to make them happen.
How do you stay motivated when people around you put you down? How do you deal with haters?
Oh, how do you deal with haters? That's a great one because I actually, I've had a couple scenarios on Instagram, and I'm sure everybody has had it, but I've had a couple scenarios. One where I got body shamed for being too skinny, and another, I mean, people pretty much comment all the time on how my eyebrows are just so overwhelming and huge. And the first time when I got body shamed was a turning point for me because I used that as an opportunity. I could have gone into my room and cried, but I used that as an opportunity to connect with people. And what I did was I went and I did something crazy. I went out into my backyard and I took a photo in my bikini and I posted it unfiltered. And I talked about what it has been like growing up in my body, the insecurities that I have had, and I just started talking about it, and I was terrified. I was freaking so scared. I was so scared that people were gonna be like, ew, you skinny girl, you don't know anything about struggle. But I had so many people reach out to me to support me, and I had so many people reach out and say, you know what, you're not alone. I've been where you are, I've struggled. And it was the first time where light bulbs went off and I realized this is a place to connect. And you can use that experience, any negative experience, to be really honest, as a way to build a connection and show someone else out there that they are not alone. And so I think the biggest thing is to not call someone out. I would never recommend calling people out or saying, oh, so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that, but just talking about the way that it made you feel. And I think it's really okay to be vulnerable and open up about negative feelings as well as all the good stuff.
On that, how do you stay so positive and uplifting?
How do I stay so positive and uplifting? Well, I think that if you've seen my content, you know that I do post about times where I'm feeling sad. I have cried on my Insta stories before. I think that there's a very big difference between being a positive person and staying positive all the time. Because no one can stay positive all the time. The key is when you are having negative thoughts, when you are feeling sad, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling unmotivated, when you're feeling lazy, whatever it is that you're feeling, you can't beat yourself up about it. And you have to know that everything that happens in your life, if it is a negative thing, you can't just switch and say, oh, this is a positive thing, but you can find a way to grow as a human from that quote unquote negative experience. And so my thing is just being conscious and aware and making sure that I can put my attention on how to grow and learn from any situation.
Okay. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to bloggers?
My number one piece of advice that I would give to any blogger is connect. Talk to people. Talk to as many people as possible. Instagram is your place to build relationships. And if you focus on building relationships, you will see growth and you will see more jobs come through. Period.
Did engagement groups help you, and how do you find them? Are they necessary?
Okay, so you guys wanted to know if engagement groups or engagement pods are helpful and necessary. And I'm gonna say yes and no. I started off doing engagement pods about maybe like almost 2 years ago now when it first became a thing. And it did really help me to start off, but I realized very quickly that I could not keep up with them. But what I learned over time was that what was more important than being in a pod where we were required to comment on each other's photos was just to actually spend time showing people love that I thought deserved the love. So instead of going to a pod and commenting on all those people's photos, I would just scroll through my feed and I would leave love for everyone that I could. I would reach out to the people that I was really inspired by and send them encouraging messages. I would comment as much as I possibly could on the people that I really truly believed in, and that has ended up being something that's priceless for me. So just give the love where you can, as much and as often as possible.
Organized.
I stay organized because I have Jessie in my life to help me with my calendar. If I didn't have her, my life would fall apart.
Oh my god. What does your diary look like?
Oh my god, what does my diary look like? Is that really a question?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't have a diary. I wish I had a diary. That would make me so much cooler than I feel like I actually am. I always tell people, like, keep a journal, but I can't keep a journal.
When did you know you needed an assistant, and when do you know when to make the jump?
I knew I needed an assistant when I was having like a series of panic attacks. I was taking on way too much work and totally burning myself out. I was missing emails. I was missing deadlines. I was missing jobs that were coming into my inbox because I just did not possibly have the time to keep up with all of my emails. And so I knew that I needed to outsource work in some way. I was terrified though, because I was like, my brand is me. I'm the person. So how can someone take over my work when I have to be everything? And then I realized that was totally not true.
What book have you learned from the most?
What book have I learned from the most? Probably Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. It is her reflections on A Course in Miracles, and this book came out in the 90s, and she was on Oprah. It was like huge in the 90s, and it is still so relevant today. So powerful.
What's the most common misconception people have of you?
What is the most common misconception people have of me? The most common misconception, I think, is just that my life is a series of like frolicking, like in fields and like parties that are just so fun and glamorous, and like that I just like get to be a professional fun haver. But like the truth is that I'm always working my ass off. Like when we do trips, we are not just sitting on a beach being like, yay, we're here, and snapping a picture. We're waking up at 5 a.m., driving to a crazy location to get there before the tourists get there, shooting as fast as we can, going home and napping, and then waking up to do a sunset shoot, and then shooting all night. And then we get into bed and we do our emails frantically. Like that's what a trip looks like. And anytime that I'm out socializing, it's generally because I have to be there. I have to be out. Being out is part of my job. So if anything, I should make more time for fun and make more time for myself. Does that make sense?
What's your advice for someone with a small following and can't seem to grow?
My advice for someone with a My advice for somebody with a small following and they feel like they've done everything and they can't seem to grow is to take my class, social media.
Love that plug. Okay, last question for you. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled?
Okay, so the last question is, are you happy? And to be really honest, I feel so lucky to be able to do what I do. My job is a total, like, I pinch myself all the time. And it's crazy that everything I ever wanted in a music career, I do feel like I'm getting now. So out of my current path. But nobody could have ever told me that. I just had to trust. And yeah, I wanted to end this gracefully, but I'm not really sure how to wrap it up. I just think the biggest thing to keep in mind is life has a lot of twists and turns, and you never know what that next thing is going to lead to, and you never know when your dreams can change and mold into something even better than you expected. So, I want to know, I didn't get a chance to answer obviously all of your questions, but if you have any more questions, comment below and I will respond in a video part 2 eventually, or I will just shoot you a message responding back. Thanks everybody. Wait, sorry, just one more thing. I have a free guide to writing Instagram captions. If you have not signed up for my email list yet, head to my website to sign up for that and we will get you that free 20-page guide on writing Instagram captions. If you like the guide, you'll probably know that social media, the class that I have coming out for content creators in February, is for you. So check it out. Check out the guide. Mwah.